love Foursquare and have been using it for a while. If anybody was at South by Southwest, it was, everybody was using it. It just exploded, and I think it had come from a year before. People already had the whole, hey, these guys are the guys from Dodgeball. There was already an excitement about it in the small community, but as the Twitters and Facebooks of the world, which is really just Twitter and Facebook, when they start embracing location, I think it's going to take it to the next level. From Samsung's point of view, we have been looking into Foursquare for a while. I have been having conversations with Naveen, who's from Foursquare, and we are looking into opportunities. One of the things is we don't have retail stores. We have a showroom here in New York City. I don't know if you've ever been. It's called the Samsung Experience, and we've been thinking about something to do there, but we don't have retail stores, so there's not much we can do, like, create an account for each retail store, or to give a mayor badge or anything like that. If we had them, we probably would be doing it already. So I think location is definitely the next big thing if it isn't already.
I think it adds context too. So if you look at, people that are sort of advanced in their tweeting are going to use smart hashtags to get noticed, and I think you'll see people automatically putting geotags in that. So if they're tagging from CES, that those tags get grouped, and the Twitter Places announcement you made was just that, or that you alluded to, was just that, right? I want to say something about a place as well as a topic, because it's another level of context. That's what social media is, right? It's all these conversations with a million different contexts, and we get to pull them out with whatever context is relevant.
Yeah, and adding to that, something that I think is missing today is, if I could go on Foursquare and see, okay, I have all these people following me or friending me on Foursquare, that's great that this place is really popular, but if I could get context where it's like, okay, people that really like social media or marketing or baseball are at these specific places, it takes it to a whole new level. I don't think that exists, or I think some people have tried it. I'd be really excited to be able to see, okay, these people swarming the Hilton right now are all Samsung fans, or they already follow Samsung. Then let's go there, or let's do something there. So context is a big one, and another big one is curating, which a lot of people are talking about. Like Robert Scope doesn't stop talking about curating, of organizing all this crazy amounts of information and data that are just flowing in the internet, so you can organize it better. Location and curating are definitely things that we're watching and that everybody should be watching.
Other questions? Okay, so I've got another one. I like the slide that said marketing goals, business goals, social media. I know a lot of us got social media and said, what marketing goals, business goals can we assign to this funky social media? Who owns the unsatisfied customer? Because it used to be, right, we had the call center, they had nothing to do with marketing, probably didn't like what marketing said to drive the calls to their call center. Now marketing tends to own the conversation in a lot of places.
Yeah.
Who owns the unsatisfied customer?
Wow, that's a good question. And we do have our Samsung service account is made up of people who came from customer service and that are now on Twitter. And if you had seen them at the beginning, they didn't really get what Twitter was. Now they're in the upfront of how do we better talk to unsatisfied customers? How do we find them and how do we try to turn them around? I would say that ultimately it's customer service, because if I can't help them because I don't know enough about drivers or I don't know enough about their personal situation, customer service will be the one that will do that. But one of the biggest values of social media is that I'm saving a lot of money by not sending people there. So if I can say, it's fine that customer service owns them, but I'm going to be more proactive and say, I'm going to take on that responsibility before it ever gets there, so that you can get that, something that a good friend of mine says is the one tweet resolution, and then you're done. One tweet, problem fixed, they never have to get there, and in a way you're saying that we're owning them, but ultimately as a whole, I think customer service really has a very important place that social media can't replace until they move into social media.
In the room, how many people here, by show of hands, their primary job is pushing messages out through social media? How many people, their primary job is listening and responding through social media? And the rest of you came because the lunch was good, and it was just, there's probably another category I'm missing. So I think that's the problem we're all wrestling with, right? Who owns the budget on this? How do we scale this? Here's another one that I've seen a lot of customers wrestle with. How do you get out of a bad conversation. And I've had personally, because it's easy to complain to your airline, boy, they're taking it on the chin, right? And I remember, JetBlue got tons of kudos because they were there. They provided that guy with the wheelchair and got more write-ups than anybody I've ever seen. And now when I complain, because there's weather, or because there's a delay, there's 200 other people complaining. And maybe I've been a little too adamant. How do you stop that conversation? Do you just walk away? Do you defer it?
It's hard because I think, for example, when I came into Samsung, I found some people that just felt that sometimes the best thing was to ignore. Or on Facebook, it would be, okay, blocking them or telling Facebook or Twitter about it. I make it the goal to try to turn people around. It's like this personal saga that I want to go into. It's a journey of, okay, I want to turn everybody around, and it really is depressing when you can't sometimes, because somebody spent a lot of money on a product, and no matter what company you are, products will fail. And so there's always going to be unsatisfied customers, and there's always going to be bad conversations. So the best thing you can do is acknowledge and say sorry, and try to turn them around. But sometimes you really need to just stay silent, which is really hard for me. But I've learned that sometimes it's better to stay silent, because sometimes it's just somebody else is on the other side with a personal saga of, I'm going to take down this company by tweeting every 2 minutes, and I'm going to create an account that looks just like yours, but with a different name that says something like, SUX or something else, and they're out there to get you. And so if you let that spread in a way, it's better not to be talking to that person over and over through the longest conversation ever, because you might never be able to turn them around.
I think we've seen that with some brands that have tried to respond or give reason to why they responded. And anybody that's just been in the customer service business outside of social media realize that sometimes customers just need to vent.
Yeah.
And there is no right answer. So, no, I'm sorry, we raised the prices. I didn't mean to do that. Or whatever they're venting about. I think your point about knowing when not to talk is really valid.
Yeah, and if I can add one more thing is, definitely don't ignore it. You'd have to pay attention to whatever they're saying, because there's usually at least some truth in it. So if you completely ignore it, it's bad. But if you don't respond, but you try to do something about it, I think maybe not with that customer, but in the future you'll help prevent that. Communicate it to PR, to customer service, to marketing, to whoever might be able to do something about it. Maybe new product development, so that then Twitter becomes a way to change your company instead of just a way to hear comments and respond back. It can be way more than that.